Hope everybody's having an awesome Saturday. I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing here, um, but I figured I'd try this out. I'm working on Ahsoka Tano's portrait today. Um, I've been recording this video as I go along, but I figured, why not try to do live today? See what happens. Um, Not sure what I'm doing here because nobody's here yet. If anybody pops in, we'll see what happens. Trying to get it up on my monitor here. There's a way to do that. Oh yeah, there is. Well, that's interesting. Okay, live chat. I've also got this going on my iPad. See if I can bring it up on my TV as well. Go to my channel. I don't even know if anybody can hear me all right. Okay. It's like somebody's joined. Bear with me here. I've never done this live thing before, so I'm trying to set up my monitor and everything. Um, Thanks for joining, by the way. Appreciate whoever's here. Drop a comment. Let me know who's watching if you want. This is my first live video, so I'm not really sure exactly how this all works. I've got my iPad set up, so I guess that's good enough for the monitor. I'll just turn my TV off right now. Anyhow, happy Saturday. Thanks for joining me. Working on Ahsoka Tano's, her portrait today. Uh, I got this far last night and ended up getting super tired. So, hey, what's up, Tahoe? So, yeah, I finished up her sclera last night, and I figured I'd let you guys join me while I'm trying to paint her eyeballs. If you've ever tried to paint eyes on these models, it can be a little terrifying, especially considering the scale. That's my thumb there. And hey, Isabel. Hey, Gonzo. Sir Gonzo, thanks for joining, everyone. So, yeah, in case you're wondering how I did the tattoos, I freehanded those. Um, I just put up a picture of Ahsoka, played by Rosario Dawson, and just kind of put little dots where all the spots should be. And then you'll see it in the video when I release that this weekend. Probably going to happen either tonight or tomorrow. I should be releasing the full video on her tutorial. But anyhow, I figured I'd do a live video and kind of share with you guys how I make Iron Man. I actually have Iron Man in the future, but unfortunately, he's not going to be in the next chat. Star Wars 3D just released a new. They just released a new model. Well, it was their May series, and the new model is the Obi-Wan Kenobi riding Bogo, who's the Varactyl that you saw in what was that, Revenge of the Sith, where he goes after General Grievous, the kind of dragon-looking creature. Yeah. So I'm going to be in the process of printing that one, which is an absolutely massive model. Even at 1/6 scale, I think they said it's like 700 millimeters tall. So it's going to be big, big, big. Probably take me like a week or two to print all the parts for it, get it put together. In the meantime, I'll show you what I do have coming up next. I forget, I don't have to yell. I'm going to be doing Shea Vizsla, who's one of the Mandalorian characters. I've got her already printed up. I'll just give you guys a little quick preview of her. Yeah. Yeah. get her out of the way. So this is Shea Vizsla. She's got two different heads. It's gonna be really fun to sculpt her. A lot of detail. The hair looks phenomenal on this model, so I'm looking forward to doing that. Here's the other head. If you guys watch the Clone Wars or any of the Mandalorian series, you'd know about Shea Vizsla. She's pretty badass. So yeah, but Iron Man is definitely in the works. I've been my dad actually requested me to do an Iron Man. Unfortunately, I just have kind of a pretty good backup right now going on with all these other models I've got taking place. So, getting into Ahsoka Tano, I'm thinking about how I want to go about this today. I want to finish her today. So I've got to do her eyes, her lips, probably add a little bit of makeup. You know, I'm not sure. I want to just, I feel like it needs some more shading in there. And then, of course, her headdress and her head tails or her leku. Gonna get those painted up. I'm gonna be finishing up her face though first, so that I can put a latex mask over it and protect the face. And yeah, so I'm gonna get started on that. Um, let's let's go ahead and get her. Let's get her lips done first. Now I've got a pretty nice color palette back here. Voluptuous pink, and I'm not feeling that. Fleshed hair is red. That's going to be too red. All the pictures I see of her, this is a possibility, are kind of like it's like a reddish purple that her lips are. Druchii Violet. Let's take a look at that. Yeah, I better get her out of the way so she's not. I don't want to splash anything on her. So this Druchii Violet by Citadel looks fairly promising. I need to bring up my reference picture here. Yeah, they're kind of like a violet red, so I'm thinking maybe these two colors. And this is the process, you know. Oh, shoot. That actually looks good on its own. I could see that. This is the process, you know. If you don't know where to start when you're painting a model, which when I come down to the studio, I typically never know where the hell I'm going to start. I know where I finished last night doing her eyes, but yeah, I feel like what I want to do is get her lips done. This is what I'm feeling right now: is get her lips done, and then start finishing up on her eyeballs, get the shading done, and then we're going to put a protective coating on her, like a matte coating, and then get her covered up with some latex, and then start working on the head tails. I think the head tails and her headdress piece, that'll go the fastest. But the yeah, painting her face itself is going to be pretty. It's going to be fun. So I think we're going to start off with a base color of this purple. Get that going. I'm going to use several brushes here. These are made by Fumui, and this one's a 0. If you guys can see that. How am I sounding on here? How's my microphone working? Is that doing all right? Maybe Tahoe Trooper can pipe in and let me know how the microphone sounds. This is my new microphone. Thanks, Red Tail. I appreciate you, man. Woman, person, whoever I'm speaking to. Yeah, thank you for that. So, starting off with this 0 brush, I'm going to put a little bit of water on it just to get it dampened up and we can shape it. That's kind of like my typical brush prep. And get some of this purple ready here. Now, because I am totally blind close up, I'm going to have to switch out my glasses, so hopefully the microphone doesn't sound too far away. I'm going to be using these. I got these on Amazon. They're like, I don't know, $20 or something like that. Hopefully, if you're young, you still have amazing eyeballs and you can see up close. I used to be able to, but now my vision up close is absolutely atrocious. So, yeah. All right. So, okay, I've got a good look at my reference picture here. Let's bring up my page. There we go. Cool. All right. So, starting off here with Druchii Violet. I'm going to work on the lower lip first. Just start getting some shape in there. Hopefully everybody's having a good Saturday. If you like, you can tell me where you guys are watching from. You know, you don't have to give me a specific location. I don't need your zip code or anything like that, unless you're comfortable with that kind of stuff. I am broadcasting my channel from my home studio here in Southern California, United States. Oh, by the way, while I'm printing this, there was a slight misprint on her lip, but I decided to leave it because it looks like a little scar or something. You know, Ahsoka's a little older here, so she's seen some battles. I don't really care if it's anatomically or how would we say canon correct, as it were. Yeah, I like this. This purple's a good base tone. All right. So right now I'm just kind of working on getting the general shape of her lips outlined. Scary part doing this live is that I don't get to cover up my screw ups. You guys get to see this happen on the fly, um, which I figure can help some people. You know, when you do have a mistake or you feel like you've made a mistake, you can either keep going with it or you can fix it. Lots of different ways to fix it. I make mistakes all the time. Um, to quote Bob Ross, the illustrious Bob Ross, rest in peace. We miss you, buddy. Um, there are no mistakes, only happy accidents. So you learn from your mistakes. Failure is the greatest way to learn. I have failed on this model numerous times already, and had to go back over some things. There we go. I'm digging that shape there. That's looking a little better. Again, I'm going to take this minute to thank all of my subscribers. It's an absolute honor to have you guys uh, here to my channel. My channel's pretty new. If you looked at some of my older videos that I've posted, they're pretty bad. I mean, while the painting was great, um, I didn't know how to edit anything. I'm still not very good at it, but I'm learning day by day. Um, I've got some good ideas for this final edit on the creation of Ahsoka Tano here. So this little spot here on her lip, I'm not digging. We're gonna need to make that a little more cohesive. Get some paint off of my brush here to shape it. And you'll see me using my thumb or a finger from time to time and to smear paint on it, or it looks like I'm just smearing paint. What I'm actually doing is using that to shape the brush and take some of the paint off that I don't need on there. Um, I can even go back and get some paint if I need to. So it's kind of like having a little palette on your thumb in a sense. Obviously, with it on your skin, it dries pretty quickly, so you don't have a lot of time to use it. But that's why you'll see me doing that. You can always tell a mini painter too if you're ever out in public and you see a guy with a bunch of paint on his thumb. Chances are he's painting D&D figures or you know Warhammer, or he's somebody like me, you know, and we're doing a YouTube channel or painting our next model and stuff. So you can see me kind of going back and forth. I'm just checking the shape on her lips. I want it to be symmetrical. This side still needs a little more, so I think you can use that to. There we go. Now, what I usually like to do is I'll keep a Q-tip close by. That's an older Q-tip. I use these big guys right here. Um, yeah, they're great because if you kind of go over something too far, you can just use the Q-tip to kind of get in there and get rid of some of that excess. Dab it a little bit. There we go. And yeah, so where's everybody from? Oh, we got 17 people watching. All right, awesome. Thanks everybody for joining us, joining me. My wife actually may be coming down a little later to work on something, so I'll introduce you guys to her. I'm sure you noticed I don't show my face. I'm not an ugly man, but I'm not a pretty man, and you know, for the sake of some anonymity, some privacy in my life, yeah, I don't show my face. Besides, nobody needs to concentrate on my face. I'm here to teach you guys how to do what I do, the way you want to do it. A lot of you may already know how to do a lot of this stuff. Um, I may be just able to add a little bit to it. And if you guys have any suggestions, definitely throw them in the comments section. You know, if you see an area that I could do better at or something, I would love to hear that. 100%. I love constructive criticism. It's not even just criticism. If you guys have any tips or pointers that I'm missing, you know, definitely drop a comment. I want to know what you guys have to say, because this is a learning experience for all of us, no matter how many years we've been doing this. I've been drawing and painting my entire life. As soon as I could pick up a pencil or a crayon, I was drawing stuff. Now, the 3D printing thing, my good friend, I think he might still be in the chat. Give a hi if you're still here, Tahoe Trooper. Um, he's the one that's guilty of getting me into 3D printing. It's all his fault. I started this journey with him, well, not necessarily with him, but about a year and a half ago, I got my first FDM printer. Got an Anycubic, and he kind of, well, not kind of, he is the one who was absolutely instrumental in guiding me on how to get my settings right, and you know, just everything involved with 3D printing. He's been there for me. And then eventually I graduated from, I call it graduating. I graduated from doing FDM printing to resin printing, and that was what took this hobby to the next level for me. Just in that it helped me realize what I wanted to really do with 3D printing, and that was, hey, I want to paint stuff. I really find this enjoyable. Um, it's really changed my life in a positive sense. So much so that, you know, I find myself in a much happier place nowadays. Not that I was depressed. I have a pretty good life, but thanks to 3D printing and modeling and stuff, um, I've got an amazing new hobby that never ceases to blow my mind from day to day. Every time a new print comes off, I can't wait to print it. Um, I'm just not happy. I feel like her lips need to come out a little more on the corners here. I got a little drop of water on my brush here. I'm going to get rid of. But yeah, it's just really changed my life for the better. I'm 52 years old, um, and when you get to be that age, you kind of enjoy staying around the house a little more often with your significant other, and you gotta have stuff to do. I don't like watching TV at all, unless it's like something Star Wars related or something like that. Or I do like video games. I love video games. Right now, I'm currently playing uh, Stalker 2, which is the Heart of Chernobyl, which has been really fun to play. I don't generally get startled or scared or anything when I'm playing a game, but this game has been making the hair on my arms stand up sometimes, which, if you ever play a game that's like that, that's some good stuff. That's what you want a game to do. So just further bringing out the shape on her lips, just looking back and forth, checking for symmetry. Um, I'm noticing there's a little bit of an overhang on her upper lip here, so I'm going to go in and correct that. And I'm using this voluptuous pink by Citadel. Um, it's blending really well with this purple. It probably doesn't translate very well in my studio light, but it does look really nice. So if anybody wants to share where they're watching from, feel free to do so. Like I said, I don't need your zip codes or I don't want your address or anything like that. Obviously, we want privacy and respect on this channel. But yeah, I am in Southern California myself. Oop, slipped a little bit there. So there's a little bit of paint there still. I think her lips are starting to take a shape that I like. So that's good. And when you're doing a portrait this small, this is 1/6 scale, you really do want to take your time with it. Don't rush it. Um, that's what this hobby is for. I am dead set on getting this model finished today, but I still have to remind myself that I need to not rush things because that can really make or break the the look of the model. Way too much paint on there, so we're going to dab a little bit of that off with a drier brush. Let's let that soak that up a little bit here. Alright, and now back to the Dirty Violet. Let's dry this off a little bit. We're going to be adding a little highlight. Alright, give it a little shake. So what I'm doing now is just layer build up. I've got the general shape of her lips. I'm pretty happy with that. So I'm going to fill in the center portion with some more of this purple. Let it dry as it goes, layer by layer. And then I think we'll be just about good to call it done on her lips. Um, pardon me. One thing I do like about these shade paints, shade or contrast paints, is they tend to have kind of a semi-gloss finish. So a lot of times when I use those to do lips, I don't find it necessary to give them a gloss coat. Otherwise, it's just overdoing it. You know, and I don't want Ahsoka looking like a streetwalker. You know, she doesn't need like super glossy painted up lips. You know, she's a warrior. So I guess we're giving her warrior's lips, something. Okay. Starting to look good there. I'm digging that. Cool. Redtail, where are you? Are you still with us? Where are you? Where do you hail from originally, if I may ask? I'm just curious because I like to see how far my channel is reaching out there. Like I said, I just got into this about a year and a half ago. I've only been resin printing for 9 months, somewhere around there. I've lost track at this point. Um, but Red Tail painting a Conan at the moment from Pennsylvania. That's awesome, dude. I can't. Conan. My dad was really big on Conan when I was a kid. Oh, thanks, man. I really appreciate that. That means a lot to me. Hopefully, we can teach each other stuff here. But yeah, Conan was one of my dad's favorite comic books when he was growing up. And when I was growing up, I was lucky that my dad still had some of his old Conan comic books around. And once he figured I was old enough to read them, because some of the comic books were pretty gnarly, um, I was I was hooked. Loved Conan growing up. All the movies, everything. Arnold Schwarzenegger as Conan was just, yeah. Red Sonja, I forget the actress who played her in the movie. Um, Not Red Sonja, but in any of the Conan movies. She was one of my first childhood crushes. That woman was just gorgeous. Let's see. Let's put you while I'm painting, so I'm watching out some great clips. Hell yeah, definitely Red Sonja, man. No, that's awesome, dude. I'm really stoked you're here on the channel, and if you have a YouTube channel, definitely share the link. Um, Anybody else watching, if Redtail Angel Spitfire has a YouTube channel, please check him out. I'm gonna have to be doing that when I'm not so busy. But yeah, if you have a channel, dude, send the link and I'll definitely go check it out. I'd love to see your work. Um, okay, so I'm liking that. I think her lips are looking pretty legit at this point. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish drying those off. Um, this is my wife's old hair dryer. I stole it when I started doing some serious painting and stuff. So yeah, she bought another one. I didn't get beat up or anything. My wife's pretty darn supportive. So I want to put a little bit of a highlight. I'm gonna have to go put her on the model itself real quick, which I don't want to show you guys that because I gotta save that for the full video. But I'm gonna go check where her object source is coming from. So it looks like the bottom left and upper left lip are gonna have a little bit of a highlight in them. So let's see how we're gonna do a highlight here. We need a lighter purple. So I'm gonna take this couple drops of this purple here, Drucci Violet. It's literally all you need is like a drop because we just need a teeny bit of a highlight in there. And then I've got some pre-mixed deck tan. I'm feeling like even just a semi brush load should get us what we need, maybe. That might be a little too much. Yeah, it needs to be a little darker on the purple here. Hopefully this makes sense to you when I get it set up. Um, so let's see here. Something a little bigger to bring a... Okay, so we're gonna put the dark purple there. And then we're gonna just trail a little bit in at a time until we get the hue that we want. I literally need less than a drop to get this highlight correct. Okay, there we go. Starting to look good. All right, cool. I think that'll do it. Let's see if this works. This is part of the game. Got to experiment and play around, and that's what we're doing today. We're just to sit. It's Saturday. We are here to play and have fun, share stories, hang out. This is my first live stream, so I'm pretty stoked on it. Oh, I need my magnifying glasses again. All right, let's see. Illmatic 3D prints. Okay, so Redtail Angel Spitfire, that's his channel. If you can check that out in the chat section here, yeah, feel free to check out his channel. Show him some love. Oh, we had 18 viewers and now we're down to 8. Yeah, I know this is boring. It's boring, and I'm sure some of you guys just have stuff to do today too. So. Um, my object source lighting is coming from this side of her body, so that's where I want this little highlight to be. It's going to be very subtle, hopefully. Oops, got a drop of water on my brush still. Let's get that off of there. And probably about right there. There we go. It's very subtle. Don't want too much on there. Dry that off. Okay. I don't know if you can see that. I'm trying to get up close here. Just adding a little teeny highlight spot to her lip. And this is going to match up. So she's got a lightsaber, obviously one on each arm. And that's the object source lighting coming in. This is the glow. The idea is that this is the glow from her lightsaber reflecting off of her lips. As my buddy Tahoe Trooper would put it, detail junkie. Love details. Even ridiculously fine, tiny details like this. Yeah. Okay. I think we need to just put a teeny bit more of a highlight right there on her lip. right. I'm calling the lips good for now. Let me know what you think. If there's anything we should add to that, and if you got any tips. Um, I'm digging the way they turned out. Kind of subtle. There's a little bit of roughness on this tattoo here. I mean, I might go back to that. So, yeah, I think these look pretty good. I'm happy with it. Holy crap, it is getting warm in here. Love some feedback if you can find me on there. Yeah, Redtail, I'm definitely going to be checking your channel out, man. And you know, if I see anything um, that I need to comment on or feel the need to comment on that might help you out, definitely do that, man. Thank you for sharing that with me. I really appreciate it. So, all right. Now, Ahsoka Tano. If you're watching, everyone out there, let me know. Are you here because you're an Ahsoka Tano fan? Oh, Instagram. Okay, I also have an Instagram as well. I will definitely check it out and follow you. 100%. Is anybody here familiar with Ahsoka Tano from Star Wars? Oh, we're back up to 22 viewers. If you're just joining in, guys, thank you very much. This is my first live stream. I've never done this before, so it's a little freaky. I'm actually kind of sweating a little bit, but I think I don't think it's because it's warm out. I'm not used to doing things like this. Um, but yeah, really appreciate you guys being here and checking this out with me. We are working on Ahsoka's. This is the Rosario Dawson version of Ahsoka Tano. If you haven't watched the series on Netflix, or Disney? Sorry, if you haven't watched the series on Disney, definitely check it out. If you're an Ahsoka fan, if you're a Star Wars fan, it's absolutely phenomenal. Rosario Dawson was actually cast as Ahsoka by us fans. We all just knew that, hey, for some reason, Rosario's the pick. Like, she's got to be Ahsoka Tano. And sure enough, they picked her, which was really cool. So if you follow Ahsoka, she's got really, really blue eyes, and that's what we're going to go with. So the first thing I need to do on the eyes is figure out exactly where the center of her eye is as far as the pupils are. And I usually start with one. Yep. I'm going to go look at the model again real quick. I need to look at the model because I got to figure out. You know, I should probably show you guys this, so what the hell. You're going to get a sneak peek of Ahsoka Tano with me right now because I want to show you. It's more important to me to show you guys what I'm doing here. So, okay. I'm going to back the camera up a little bit so you can see this a little better. That way you know what I'm talking about. All right. Let me get this fastened down good. Cool. So the way I figure out where I want the eyes to go, it's important to figure this out by kind of like, where's she looking at? Is she looking straight on? Is she staring at us, or is she looking off to the side? Now, if you're familiar with sword fighting or combat in general, she's squaring off with an opponent right now. So she's probably looking dead at the opponent. And by squaring off means she's got her center line aimed at her opponent. She's at the ready. This is going to be her blocking hand. That's her striking hand. So she's probably looking dead on. Now her head's looking down a little bit. So her eyes are going to be a little more towards the top, if that makes sense. So I'm going to bring her in a little closer here. And I need to change my light. This is a really kind of a crucial part in figuring out where you want the eyes to be. So I want her. Gotta be real careful not to move her head. Oops. Like I said, you guys get to see me screw up. So I'm gonna hold her head steady like this and pick where I want the first eyeball, right about there. That's gonna be the center of her eye. And looking back at the other one, this is important because you don't want your model to look cross-eyed. There we go. So now she's got the beginnings of the pupil right there. Live wallpaper. Emmanuel, I am totally new at this live stream stuff. So yeah, hi man. Thanks for joining us here. I'm totally new at this live stuff, so if you it, let me know what is a live wallpaper. What does that mean? I'm not. I don't know. I'm totally new at this stuff. So I need to clean off my phone screen. Hang on a second here. I am recording this with my phone camera. Okay, it doesn't want to cooperate with me right now. All right, so we got our pupils marked off. We can take her head aside. And yeah, that's your sneak peek of Ahsoka Tano. We're almost there. I have been painting and editing every single day like crazy for the last 2 weeks. I do have a day job, so it makes it a little hard for me to paint as often as I would like. Um, who knows? Maybe my YouTube channel will get big enough thanks to you guys someday, and we can. I can quit my day job and paint full time, which is really what I would love to do. All right, so let's see where we're at here. Very cool. Okay. So, the first thing we're going to do, I think, for her is we need to mark off where we want her pupils to be as far as the shape and everything. And that's going to be terrifying because these are tiny. And I'm feeling like maybe gray is going to be the first color that we're going to put down over where the pupil goes. And I'm going to switch to a smaller brush because we need as much detail as possible. So this is a teeny tiny brush. This is a 4-0 by Famui. So you can see very small. And this is a shade paint, so I'm not sure how well this is going to work to color this in. Oops. Try to keep you guys in the camera here so you can see. No, it's way too transparent. So we're going to switch up to, this is an air color. It's Administratum Gray. I think this will work better. And then next we'll be coloring in the iris. You can barely see that, but I like the shape. Try to give us some better light here. Let's go. Now there's a lot of back and forth on the eyes. If you guys have any questions or comments while I'm doing this, I am checking the chat. Emmanuel Bestman, I am good, my friend. Thank you for joining the channel for my very first live stream. It's a little nerve-wracking. I'm not used to doing this kind of stuff. But thanks to all you subscribers, I am able to live stream now, which is this is actually pretty fun. Um, Hope everybody's having a great Saturday out there. Right now, I'm just marking off where I want the irises to go. I don't know if you can see that, but I think we nailed it as far as the shape. This eye here needs a little bit more over to this side. There we go. That matches up nice. Okay, now we need to select our blue. Ahsoka Tano has really bright blue eyes, and that's basically what I want to do. Now, you want to keep your paints nice and thin when you're doing your eyes. Um, you're going to be working these up in layers. So that being said, we want our eyes to be blue because our eyes are blue. This is a Techless blue. This is one of my favorite blues by Citadel. So that's a consideration. I've got a really cool paint mixer here. I'm going to have to use this guy. So we're going to pop that in there and mix this up real quick. I like that it's adjustable speed. I got this on Amazon, so if you'd like a link for one, let me know in the comments section, and I will post a link later on for you. I've tried several different paint mixers over time that I've been doing this hobby, and so far that one's my favorite. It's very sturdy, very well made, and I like that it's not reciprocating. It's a rotary, so it actually spins your paint, which gets you a much better mix. So, okay, this is a light blue, and we're gonna put some of that down on this guy here. I'm not using my wet palette today just because this is easier to do. It's easier to do it this way, especially if you're only mixing two colors. Now I need a darker blue. So the darker blue is going to be going down first. And I'm feeling like maybe this ultramarine will be good. Just need a tiny, tiny bit. How are you doing today, Emmanuel? Where are you located, if I may ask? Oh, that's why I'm so warm. I still have my freaking hat on. God. Okay. Is there a way we can see who's watching? Yeah, maybe not. I don't know. Anyhow, so we're gonna need a little bit of water. I'm gonna just take some water here. Put that down on our cup. This is how I'm mixing the paint for the eyes. Got 5 viewers right now. Keeps going up and down, obviously. Some people got stuff to do and whatnot. If you're new here, drop in and say hi in the comments section. Love to hear who's joining us today. Now for this first layer on the darker blue that we're doing, I want it to be pretty thin. You don't need your paints thick for eyes. You just want enough to get a layer down. And what we're going to be doing is just going just inside the gray here. So I like to start at the top. That's going to give me like my border, as it were. You'll see why we're doing this whole spot first in just a second. Now with 1/4 scale models, eyes are so much easier to do. They're literally one of the last things I do when I'm painting, just because they're a challenge. They're not easy. I tend to use just kind of a stabbing motion and then work my way through with that. And just kind of push the paint to do what I need it to do. But the eyes, you definitely have to be really patient for. Take your time, don't rush them at all. Just chill. All right. Okay, almost happy with that shape. We just need to round it off a little more water. All right, that was a little too much. All right, so I'm pretty happy with that. How's the light here? You guys see that pretty well? So now we want to match up with that one. So this is where we start moving back and forth a lot. Now I'm just checking the shape, making sure they're matching up. I think that looks pretty good. All right. What do you guys think? How's she looking so far? She's gonna be kind of looking down. Well, her head's down a little bit on the model. I think we got. I think we got the shape we're looking for there. I think that looks pretty good. So now we're gonna move on to our lighter blue. This is our techless blue. by Citadel. And I'm going to put a drop of paint, drop of water down here, and that's going to thin it out for me. And while I'm doing this, that thin layer of paint we just put down on her, the first layer of her iris, is drying. All right, here we go. Now the idea here is we want just a tiny, tiny line of that dark blue to stay behind. So we're going to carefully work our way around for that. If that makes sense. Okay. Cool. I'm pretty happy with that. And do the same for the other side. All right. I think we're looking pretty good there. Cool. Now, on to the next one. Excuse me. I'm going to take a very light blue. Here, this is like baby powder blue almost. And we're going to put some striations in her eyes there, in her irises. So we need to drop the water. There we go. And again, we want to keep our paint pretty damn thin. The thinner your paint is, the easier it is to control, especially on eyes that are this tiny. And I want this paint to be almost transparent for the irises, you know, kind of like a real eyeball. And the way I'm going to do that is just kind of work my way around in a spiral. Just very, very careful. Don't too much paint on there. That's all right. We can spread that around. There we go. Eyeball number 2. Same thing. This side's a little darker, so we're going to bring that up a little more. Yeah, that's about right. Cool. Okay, now we need to drop a black paint to finish off the pupil. I'm going to use a, what's it called, Corvus Black. These are all the paints. I tend to keep all the paints that I've used for a model in front of me, so I remember my color palette, especially when I'm doing my, what you call it, my voiceover, when I'm finishing editing on a video. Just that way I can kind of keep track of everything. And also so I can tell you guys how or what I'm painting with. Again, I want to thank all of my subscribers, you guys. you guys that are here with me and those that are not, thank you for subscribing to my channel. Really, from the bottom of my heart, it it means a lot to me. I just started this channel a couple of months ago, like mainly just to be able to drop videos to help friends and stuff, like to show them, how I was doing certain things, and it grew from there into what it is now. And yeah, I just really, really appreciate you guys all being here and joining me on this journey. So this eyeball over here, I made it. I made the pupil too big. Her pupil should be really tiny. So we're gonna go back and fix that here in a minute. But for now, we'll concentrate on this pupil, since this one it's got the shape I want. I typically almost always start with the left eye, probably because I'm right-handed, and it's easier to get to. I don't know why I started with that one first, but that's why we have our paint ready to go, so we can go back over that real quick. Before we do that, let's give her a quick little dry. All right. Now, since it's still dark, I think we can just do the light right over that to fix this eyeball. Make sure that's nice and thin. Cool. Just fixing, touching up a little bit of the shape on her eye here that I was seeing was a little off. Yeah, there we go. That works. That's better. Cool. All right, so back to the pupil. Get some paint off of our brush. Okay. Pupil time. It looks like we're missing a little bit of a light hue on the iris, so we're going to fix that real quick too. Dry her off a little bit. We're just about ready to call the eyes good, which is great. I can't wait to get that out of the way. Thank you, Prince. I appreciate that, man. That's a bold compliment. I don't think there's anything genius about what I do, but I certainly have fun doing it, whatever you want to call it. Um, and if there's any way I can share my love for the art and teach you guys how to do some of this stuff, very cool. So now I'm just gonna mark off that pupil again. I want it right there. There we go. Yeah, I think that looks great. Okay, cool. So we're gonna round that pupil out just a little bit. Check our size. I'd say we're right about there. What do you guys think? How do those eyeballs look? How's that light there? How are we looking? What do you guys think? Is there anything I need to fix with that? I'm gonna add a little bit of a glare on part of her eyes because it's gonna be that's the glow. It's part of the object source lighting from her lightsaber. Oh, we got a new subscriber, Russ. Thank you for joining. Really appreciate you having. Really appreciate. I can't even talk today. Really appreciate having you here, man. If you're watching the live feed, thanks for joining us, man. Thanks for helping grow my channel. This has been really exciting for me. It's not something I ever thought I would do. I thought it was for young kids, but it's really given me a source uh, to get my art and um, my fun out there. I want to share this fun with everybody. I want to teach you guys anything I can, and I want to learn anything I can from you guys. If you've got some cool tips for me, I totally want to hear about them. Okay, now I need a drop of white because we're going to add that little object source glow, uh, inner, glare from her lightsabers, which you'll see later how I did the OSL. OSL obviously meaning object source lighting. If you don't know that term, that's a new term for you. Um, yeah. Oops, got a little black on my brush there. Okay. Now this literally we just need a speck of paint, just a speck. So we want to get that too much paint off our brush. All right, and so she's looking, her head's kind of down, and she's looking at her opponent, whoever she's squaring off with, and her right lightsaber is like in front of her. So I'm gonna put that little glare right there. Perfect. Okay. I mean, not perfect, but I like it. And we're gonna add another one right here. Boom. All right, I think we're good. What do you guys think of the eyes? Love to hear your comments. I think they look pretty good. I'm happy with it. So our next step on the eyes is to get these colors dried off, and we're going to add a gloss coat to them to make them look like real eyeballs. And for that, I'm going to use a technical color called Ard Coat by Citadel. Use whatever works for you, but for doing eyes or lips and things like that, I really love this stuff. Um, it it dries clear. It's a little milky at first when it goes on. All right, I'd say we're fully mixed there. Yeah, that looks good. We'll let some of that excess fall off of there, and in the meantime, we're going to give her another dry. This has a cooling button on it. So this dryer has a cooling button on it, and if you're going to use a blow dryer to quick dry some of your stuff while you're painting, that way you can get to the next layer or whatever, definitely use the cooling button. It helps your stuff dry faster. Awesome. Okay. Gloss coat time. So same brush. We're going to use our little brush. This I'm using a Fumui. These are not very expensive brushes. I think it was $25 for a set of 10, something like that. Um, they are not super good quality, but they're better quality. They're just it's a decent quality brush for the price. They don't lose their shape very easily. So doing the gloss coat here, I like it to be a little thick, and what that does is it gives the eye kind of a more three-dimensional look to it. It's going to look a little creamy when it goes on at first. Well, in this case, her eyes are so tiny, it might not translate very well on camera. But you want to just be careful not to get the gloss anywhere but her eye, her actual eyeball. So the white part is called the sclera, and then the colored part of the eye is called the iris, and then the center part, the dark spot, that's your pupil. Um, so we're gonna just concentrate on getting the gloss only in those areas. We don't want it to look like she's crying. I mean, you might. You might want to make it look like she's crying. If that's your thing, feel free. But Ahsoka she's tough. Anybody got any special plans this week? What's going on? Anybody on vacation? Where are you traveling to? What would you like to be doing if you were on vacation? Um, me personally, I think my wife and I are planning on going to the Bahamas for our next uh, trip, but that's not happening until next year. We had some illness and just recently a death in the family. My wife lost her grandmother, and so we've had to spend some little extra money and time traveling and doing stuff with family. So no vacations this year. That's okay. I mean, we still had some vacation time. We just didn't really go anywhere. But yeah, if you're heading out somewhere this year for vacation, feel free to share if you like. Now, this probably doesn't translate to camera very well, but this gloss coat is coming along nicely. Um, thing about gloss coating is it tends to reflect light from the camera really badly, so it doesn't always translate well on camera. So you can see I'm building up quite a bit of gloss on her eyeball here, and that's what's going to give it that 3D effect and make it look like it's a real eyeball once it dries. You just want to carefully move that gloss around until it fills up the spots you need it to. Looks funky right now, but trust me when I tell you it will dry beautifully. Cool. Normally I like to listen to music when I'm working, but due to copyright laws and such, I have to be really careful what I play in the background. So I figured I just wouldn't play music in the background today, because I don't want my channel getting deleted or anything. Gotta be careful about that stuff. Cool. All right, I think I'm gonna call it good on that gloss coat. We're gonna go ahead and get that dried off. That could take a minute. Cool. I think we're looking all right there. Now, while we're at it, see, there's a little bit of support here on our headrest that I'm going to try and carefully scrape off. Yeah, that looks right. Sweet. Okay. And then a couple spots of on our tattoos, I feel it needs some refinishing, as it were. So we're going to do that real carefully here. And once that's done, I think we'll be ready for a clear coat. You guys are quiet today. Throw some questions my way. Let me know what you guys are up to. A cool little story. So, about 3 weeks ago, my wife and I were sitting on our patio and just relaxing, and noticed that there was this bird, one of our local finches, was eyeballing or hopping around one of our flower pots. And I noticed that the bird hopped into the flower pot and wasn't coming out. I thought that was a little curious, and I mentioned to my wife, I said, I think one of our finches is building a nest in the flower pot. So I got up and went over and took a look, and sure enough, we had a little nest, little finch's nest in our flower pot. And I waited for the mom or the dad, whichever one it was, to fly away to do whatever they were doing and look inside the nest and realize there's 4 eggs in there already. It's like, oh, that's pretty cool. Fast forward to today. Well, last night I came home. Well, I went back upstairs after working in the studio. And as I was opening the gate, I felt something soft kind of brush against my hand. And it was one of the baby birds out on the patio. At 10 o'clock. Not the best time of day for a bird to learn how to fly, but hey, whatever floats your boat. But I thought that was pretty cool. And my wife and I proceeded to pick up the bird and move him back to his nest, just in case the parents were coming around to feed him. They weren't. We morning and go out and found 2 of the baby birds on the patio, and they were trying to fly. And the parents were yelling at them from the sidelines, coaching them and egging them on. So that was pretty fun. It was a cool way to enjoy a morning cup of coffee. Just watching baby birds learn to fly. Doesn't happen every day, so that was kind of cool. So if you're just joining in, I don't know, if you're just joining in, I'm just cleaning up a few spots here on these tattoos on Ahsoka's head. Um, just kind of going over them, making them look, cleaning up the lines and stuff, while I'm waiting for the gloss coat on her eyes to finish drying, which it looks like it's just about there. Um, and then I haven't decided yet. I feel like I need to put a latex mask over her face so that way we can. I kind of like to airbrush her head tails and then hand brush the blue striping on there just to give it a more even look. And there's some bumps and stuff like that that I'll be able to address a little easier and better with the airbrush. So I think I might do that. I also want to protect her face while I'm painting her headdress. So we'll give it another minute or so, and I think we can safely put the latex coat on her face. Um, just need to give her a quick little matte coating to protect her. Mm-hmm. All right. Just gonna give her a quick matte coat. go. For the matte coating, I'm just using this flat clear by Krylon. I like the way it works. It aerosols really well. Let's dry that off real quick. Now that light matte dusting I just did, will take away from the gloss coat a little bit on her eyes, but we'll just go over that again later, and that will add a little more depth to her eyeball as well when I do that. So that'll be cool. Um, let's go ahead and yeah, we're dry. We're feeling good. So on with the latex coat. So the latex I use is made by Vallejo. It's good stuff. It's very thin viscosity, so it's easy to spread out. Don't need much, and you just want to use an old piece of crap airbrush, or not airbrush, paintbrush to get it on there. And I'll show you guys how to do that. Now, once you have this applied, you want to let it dry until it becomes clear. And I'll show you guys what I mean by that here in a second. And that matte coat we just put on there just kind of protects our paint job. A little added layer of protection, because we don't want to have to go back over that again. Get under her neck here. Ah, crap. Yeah, be careful. I just took a big chunk of it off with my finger. You kind of have to remember that you put matte coat down. Now we want to cover her whole face with this. Just to protect all that paint. You can be pretty liberal with this stuff. It actually makes it a little easier to peel off when you're ready. Cool. So we just need to let that dry for a few, and then we can start working on her head tails and stuff. I think I need to get her neck a little better though. Sorry, I just had a phone call come in. Hopefully that didn't screw anything up here. Sorry about the hiccup, guys. I guess that's a lesson for me to remember in the future is to put my phone on airplane mode. If that's something you can do while you're live streaming, I don't know. It was a customer anyway, so we don't want that call. We got better things to do. So, if you just came into the channel, I've just finished painting her face, and this is a latex coating that I put on there because I wanted to protect the paint job on her face while we paint her head tails and all that fun business. So, speaking of which, we're going to start prepping this area for our airbrush. This stuff out of the way here. I don't clean my paint booth until I'm done with the project. And then once I'm done with the project, then I clean everything off and start making a mess all over again. That's how we do. Let's see if we can get this to speed up a little bit. Oops. So you can see how it's getting more and more clear as it dries out. The thicker parts being the areas that have more latex on them. Cool. All right, so now we're going to start prepping our airbrush. See if I could change the view up a little bit for that part so you guys can see what I'm doing here. All right, so today, since this is kind of a small piece, I'm going to use my Harder and Seamback. This is the model they made, the Infinity CR Plus. This is the model they made before the 2024 version. I use this for my really fine detail stuff. This is a 0.15 millimeter nozzle, and that's what we're going to be using today to do her head tails. And set that in there. Now, because I'm using a 0.15 millimeter nozzle, I have dropped the pressure in my airbrush to 18 psi. And before I start with the airbrush, I always like to run a cup of water through it. So here's our water. This just ensures that we have good spraying, good atomization. It also makes sure that your trigger isn't sticking anywhere. I am extremely anal about cleaning my airbrushes, so every time every time I finish an airbrush session, I clean it with alcohol. All the needle, the nozzles, everything goes through a jewelry cleaner. You know, when you spend $200, $300, $400 on an airbrush, you want to take really good care of it. Harder and Steenbeck replacement parts are extremely expensive. I just busted the nozzle and the needle on my Evolution CR Plus 2 days ago, and that's $70 for a new needle, um, which can, when you're not expecting it, that's not a fun expense to have to pay for right off the bat. I did find a cheaper version online through Amazon, but I'm just not sure about it. Simply because you get what you pay for in this day and age. It's kind of the way things always work, and yeah, didn't want to run the risk of getting a shitty needle or something like that. Um, I've been good about it today, but for any of you guys that are watching who are parents, I do occasionally let a questionable vocabulary word escape my lips and lungs, but I try to keep it to a very minimum. In real life, in person, I cuss like a sailor. Anybody who knows me knows that. I don't have a filter. I'm a little punk rock when it comes to that. So I apologize in advance to anyone that my vocabulary offends. Um, if you don't like it, okay. Enjoy your life. Carry on. All good with me. All right, so we got our paintbrush. Our airbrush is loaded with some deck tan, which is what we're going to do the head tails out of. So I'm going to reposition my camera back to that so you guys can see how we're airbrushing here. I hope that's the right. See if that's a good angle. Yeah, it's a pretty good angle. Cool. Where am I at? Where am I at? I'm going to use this little stabby stab here to jam that up into her noggin to hold on to her. There we go. Yeah, I need to raise camera a little bit. So we'll do that. There we go. Cool. So do a little test spray here. Here we go. Awesome possum. I think we're good to go. You'll see me do this every once in a while. And what I'm doing is I'm just clearing that needle of any paint that's trying to dry on there. They call it dry tip. You'll see me do that from time to time. That's what that's all about. So my paint mixture here for this coat is about, it's probably about 50-50, 50% water and 50% paint. I'm using a Vallejo deck tan. You could see some little support bumps down there that I didn't sand down because they're going to be hidden anyways. So I wasn't really worried about it. Take this minute again to thank everybody for being here today and watching. Hope you guys are all having an awesome Saturday. Thank you also for subscribing to my channel. Sorry about the bumpy camera there. Really, totally appreciate you guys being here, man. This is awesome. If you guys have any channels you'd like me to check out, please post a link in the comment section on the chat. I would love to see what you guys are all working on out there, whether it's cars or whatever your interests are. I'm down to check it out. I want to see that stuff. I don't. My wife likes to watch TV, but I don't really care for watching TV. I usually surf the YouTubes when I get home, and I love finding new channels and cool stuff to check out. So feel free to share your links, even if it's not your channel or something, and you think it might be something I'm interested in. I might not be, but feel free to share. That's what we're here for, is to share our likes and loves and things that we're into. Got a little spot there. Fixes that. Cool. Sorry for the air compressor noise. I think after it loses like 3 bars of pressure or something, it turns on. I forget what I have it set to. So that'll periodically turn on. I apologize. Minor inconvenience. Alright, I think we're good there. Just set her to dry for a moment. Hope everybody is having a nice day. I certainly am. I really appreciate you guys being here. So while she's drying, I'm going to show you how I clean out my my airbrush here, just for fun. Gonna have to adjust my camera angle a little bit. Sorry about all the shakiness. So to clean my airbrush out, the way I usually do that, whoa, saved it. I need to put her in a more secure location while she dries. There we go. So to clean the airbrush out, get yourself one of these pots. These things are fantastic. And these little bottles are super handy. But you want to kind of pull the trigger like so. And what that does is it kind of helps wipe your needle off at the tip. And then what I'll do is I'll take a little Q-tip here and kind of wipe the inside. So we want to get that paint off, because paint always dries inside the cup. You want to get that out. Now, since I'm in my garage, I'm able to just dump the cup on the floor. But for now, we'll just use that. And then what I'll do is fill up a little more water, backwash it a little bit. Just carefully grab your needle here and push your fingers up, and that'll kind of backflush your airbrush to get some of that ink out, paint, whatever you happen to be using. And I'll do some quick dumps like that. Backwash it again. Again, I usually dump it on my floor because I'm in my garage and I've got a little paper towel on the floor that catches it all. And then after doing that a couple times, I'll take an old paintbrush, just a crappy old POS paintbrush there, and just kind of rub that gently down around the needle to free up any paint that got dried on the needle. And then we can flush that out again. And again, just, repeatedly pull the trigger. Occasionally, I will use, this is a airbrush cleaner by Master Airbrush, whatever they are. I'll do the same. You can see it kind of milking up a little bit. Tells you there's still a little paint in there that we want to clean out. Airbrush cleaner is really good for that. So is alcohol. Dump that out. Now, when I'm doing this without showing you guys, it goes a lot faster. You get, with practice, you get really fast at it. And then you're ready to switch over to your next color. But right now, I'm just taking the time to show you guys how I do it. Just take this process and speed, like double the speed. And that's how quickly you can clean your airbrush out and get ready for the next color. You want to be really thorough doing this, especially if you're using like metallic colors. You don't want that metallic stuff to stay behind. So now I'm just giving it a couple more dumps. And then you can even take a little bit of water in your cup and just use your pinky finger to kind of get in there and wipe around the edges. But yeah, it goes pretty fast on the fly once you've had some practice with it. That being said, it is clean and we are ready for our next color if we were going to be airbrushing again, which I think we're kind of done with for the moment. So I can go ahead and put that away. Sergeant Digital has joined the channel, everybody. Watch out. So, Sergeant Digital Designs, he's an awesome cat. I kind of fell in love with his channel a while back. I think it was actually, I think I started watching his channel before I even started my own. He's kind of, he's one of the people that kind of inspired me to do a channel. But anyhow, he's a retired military guy, and he's got an awesome paint channel. He kind of does the same stuff I'm doing, he teaches you guys how to do stuff, but he's got his own way to do it, and it's awesome. I find his channel really entertaining. I still watch it. Even though I have my own channel, I always take my time to kick back and watch any of the videos he drops. He's got some good attitude. He's got a steady hand, and he turns out some awesome work. Check out his Spider Punk video. He just dropped. What's the name of the dude you just dropped? Static. God, I forgot his name. It's a comic character from DC I'm not very familiar with, and he's got a pretty cool intro that gives a short story on it. Yeah, you're welcome, Sarge. Thanks for being here, man. I appreciate you, brother. Static Shock. Thank you, Sarge. Yeah, that's Static Shock. Check out that video he made for that. He did some cool stuff with that, dude. I really enjoyed it. But yeah, Sergeant Diddle Designs. Go over to his page and his channel and show him some love. Subscribe. He's been doing art as long as I have, if not longer, and went to school. Yeah, just check his channel out. I can't give you his life story as well as he can. So cool. All right, I think we're good. We're nice and dry here, and I feel like I need to give her a little matte coating on her head tails just to protect them, but I I don't really want to do that just because the paint is going to stick to the model better if I don't do it. And looking ahead at, if you get up close, Ahsoka has all these little markings. I don't know if they're tattoos or I, I'd have to look at her history again, but her leku or her head tails have these intricate designs or tattoos on them that are blue, and that's what we got to paint. I do know that the bottom ones are, you know what? We could probably just use my iPad to check out how they're done, just to make sure we get them done right. Let's see. Oh, that's a crappy picture. Um, that might have to do. Ah, here's a good one. All right. So my light's glaring off of it a little bit. So yeah. So the bottoms are blue, and then white, blue, black, white, and so on. Now we got to find a cool blue, and I think the blue that I'm seeing there, I don't think we need to mix that. I want to say I'm gonna have to give Sergeant Digital another plug here. He recently turned me on. I've heard of him before, but Pro Acryl paints dark gray blue. Pro Acryl paints make some awesome colors, and I recently bought kind of a like a beginner set, I guess. And yeah, this is one of the colors is a blue gray. So I think we could do a little test run and see how this translates. All right. I'm not using my dry palette today. That's just how it's gonna go. We're gonna take this Pro Acryl here. Let's see how that looks. Damn, I'd say that's almost an exact match for the blue on her leku. It's kind of like a, I mean, it's a little lighter. Like a, it's almost like a, it's like a, there's a blue green to it. Let's see how these two mix up together. Actually, this blue green is a little more. Yeah, it's like a mix between the two of them. So we are gonna mix a little paint here today. Start off with that. See how that goes. Now, this is the fun part about like color matching and stuff. You know, if you're as detail oriented as I am, you want everything to be correct, and I definitely want everything to be correct. Um, I would like to be giving this model to Rosario herself. I cannot discuss how that is going to come about, but I will say I know some people. So yeah, and hey, Rosario, if you're watching this, girl, or if you happen to stumble across it, or one of your people says, hey, check this out. This model is yours. I am doing this as a tribute to not only Ahsoka Tano, but how amazingly well you played her and have been playing her in the show. Just absolutely phenomenal job, girl. So thank you for inspiring this video and doing such an awesome job with Ahsoka. She's one of my absolute favorite characters in the Star Wars universe, and you're killing it, girl. So thank you. All right. I think we got a good mixture here. Hopefully this isn't too thin, but I feel like that's the color we're looking for. It's about 50-50 of this blue-green and the dark blue-gray by Pro Acryl. This is the blue-green by Roisafar. I'm probably murdering the pronunciation on that, but those are really, really good, cheap airbrush paints. I think I can move this back out of the way now. I was kind of using this as my live stream dealy bob. Okay, so let's see how we did here. I think we could go with this. No, we're going to stay with the same brush. So this is going to go a little slow, because I want to be careful. This might be a little too thin. And again, I need my glasses. Magnifiers. I got about maybe half hour left in me before I got to take a break and get some food. Okay, so just kind of plotting out. Here we go. I like that. That's a good color. I don't even think we really needed to water it down. No, we didn't. It's almost too thin at this point. That's all right. We'll let it go for now, and then remix it. Certainly makes it easier to spread the paint around, that's for sure. Can't complain about that. Now, I'm not really that concerned if the color's a little mottled. In the live action stuff, it's not a perfectly even color anyways. But we'll still make it as cohesive as possible. Oops, sorry. So, Sarge, if you're still here, I really appreciate you coming to my very first live stream ever, checking it out with me. It's been a little terrifying. I feel like I'm settling in a little better now. I'm not used to doing things under pressure, and I realize that when I'm live streaming, like, everybody gets to share my mistakes as they happen. So that's kind of fun. Puts me under the gun a little more to do a good job on the first try. I missed that comment earlier. If I cuss like a sailor, then I'm your shipmate. I'll take that compliment, man. Any day, brother. I'll always have your back. I will be your shipmate. Absolutely. What else am I missing? Oh, you're painting and watching me paint. Awesome, dude. How do I do that? Do I just? Oh, I guess I could just turn into your channel on my iPad here. I'm using my iPad right now as kind of like my monitor for comments and stuff because I'm using my phone to paint or to film the painting. Cool. Oh, you know what? I could probably just bring you up on my TV monitor I've got here in the thing. Oh, well, yeah. I mean, are you painting live, Sarge? Sorry if the question takes your hand off the brush. So if you're just tuning in, I'm kind of talking back and forth with Sergeant Digital Designs. You'll see him in the chat. He's got an awesome channel. I'm just going to give him another plug there. You guys, check out his channel and enjoy his works. Does some great stuff. I'm definitely going to mix this a little thicker on the next run because I'm finding myself having to go over it too many times. I think you could do it straight out of the bottle. That'll work better. Hope everybody had a great, well, for anybody in the States that's watching, hope you guys had a great Memorial Day weekend last weekend. I know I did. I just actually stayed home and worked on this model. Some days I have so much pain and I'm so beat up and tired from work that I just don't have it in me to go down to the studio and paint. So weekends tend to be the easiest time for me to go down and paint. So I do apologize. Oh, I see, Derek. I do apologize for the amount of time it takes me to turn out models at this point. A couple months ago, I'd had surgery on a body part that I had a cancer scare with. Turns out it wasn't cancer, so that was great. But I had about 6 weeks recovery time at home. And before the surgery, I had printed, oh, I think about 9 different models I printed out and had them ready to go. And I got through almost all of them during my recovery process. So that was pretty cool. The unfortunate side of that was that I didn't have my YouTube channel set up and running at the time, so I didn't film anything I did, which kind of sucks. So, lesson learned. Don't have surgery and go into recovery unless you have a YouTube channel and a bunch of models ready to paint. But I guess if you got to have surgery to save your life or something, you should probably just get that taken care of. All right. So, Sarge, if I may ask, my friend, what are you working on today? So that's our first section of the Leku, and I'm pretty happy with that. I need a drink, though. I am thirsty. I am not sponsored by these guys at all. Let me just make that clear right now. Not sponsored. But this stuff is yummy. I'm not a big sparkling water guy, but my wife grabbed these and They are quite refreshing and tasty, I must say. So there you go, San Pellegrino. That's a free plug for you. If you guys want to sponsor me, I will probably gladly take that on. In fact, you know what? If you guys want to sponsor me, here, let's do this. Let's see if this works. San Pellegrino, if you guys are out there and you hear me and you want to sponsor this channel or sponsor a video, I will take that sponsorship happily. However, there's one caveat. I want all the funds that you would give to me for the sponsorship to go to children's cancer research. All right? So San Pellegrino, if you're out there and you see this video and you want to sponsor my channel for a video, I'll do it as long as you guarantee me that 100% of the money that you would otherwise give to my channel for the sponsorship of a video goes to children's cancer research. All right? Just putting that out there. Okay, so Sarge is working on the new Superman from Tanuki Figures. STL drops tomorrow. Not sure I got it early. Oh, maybe if you're a top tier supporter or something like that, you got it a little early. I really dig Tanuki Figures. I haven't subscribed to their Patreon yet, but they've turned out some pretty cool models. I'm definitely curious to try one out. I am currently printing SW3D, or Star Wars 3D. Just dropped their May term this morning, and I've been really excited for the model they're doing. And it's Obi-Wan Kenobi riding the Varactyl named Bogo from Revenge of the Sith when he goes after General Grievous. It's 1/6 scale, so I think they said it's 700 millimeters tall. So this thing is gonna be absolutely massive. And I just started printing some of the parts for Obi-Wan. Looking at everything this morning on my printer, I was just like, oh my god, this is gonna take me probably, I won't be surprised if it takes me a week and a half or two to print all the pieces. I don't even want to get started on the post prep and stuff it's gonna take to get this thing done. However, I am extremely excited to get to work on that thing and start painting it. It is just an absolutely phenomenal piece of digital sculpture from the fine craftsmen over at Star Wars 3D Studios. They are a sister company to Wicked and CA 3D Studios. So definitely check them out if you're into Star Wars and you want to get some cool STL files to print. Check out SW3D on Patreon. They are amazing. Oh, speak of the devil, Wicked just sent me a message. I'm sure Sarge got the same message over there. I think they're dropping their May term as well. I've got so much stuff lined up right now, I can't even think about it. But let's mix up a little more paint here. I can do a couple more lines, and then I'm going to have to take a break for like an hour or so to recharge my phone. I don't have any cables down here right now, so I'm going to have to just run upstairs. I got to eat some lunch anyways. But yeah, we'll mix up a little bit more of this blue. I should have done this in the cup because I don't want this stuff to dry out while I'm upstairs eating and such. I'll mix this nice and thorough. Hindsight's 2020, or in my case, I think hindsight's 5150 today. I should have mixed up a full batch of this blue, just for the sake of consistency, which I think we're going to do right now. Because I'm doing a lot of it. I mean, not a lot, but I need it to stay fresh. And if I leave it sit, it's going It's gonna dry up, and I don't like wasting paint. Paint's expensive, and some paints are expensive. Oops, that was dumb. It's all right. We can touch that up. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Drops are a little bigger out of that bottle, so I'd say that's a match. Nice. Okay. I love these medicine cups. Um, for anybody watching that doesn't already use these, I think Sarge uses them too. Um, let me know in the comments section or let me know in the chat, and I can post a link for you to order these on Amazon. They're very inexpensive, and they come with lids, which is great because you want to keep your paint fresh. Don't want that stuff drying out on you. You know, if you mix up a big batch or something, you know, like deck tan, for example, I'll mix up a whole batch of this stuff if I'm going to be using a lot of it, which in this case, for Ahsoka Tano, I knew I was going to use a lot of it, so I mixed up a full cup of it, um, watered down and airbrush ready at all times before I started doing the model, so that was pretty helpful. Instead of having to mix every time. So yeah, we're going to touch up those spots real quick. I accidentally splattered some of that blue mixture on to Ahsoka, so we're gonna fix those little spots really quick. I know I'll be taking a break here in a little bit, but I'll be back with you guys later. I'm totally enjoying doing this live feed. It's kind of fun. But yeah, I want to thank you guys for showing up and hanging out with me today. I will be back in a little while once everything is charged up and stuff like that. So please feel free to join me later on today if you can. Love to have you back. All right, cool. But the goal, my ultimate goal is I am finishing Ahsoka today, even if I have to work all day at it into the night. Um, I want to get her finished because I've got some other projects to get started on here. Fortunately, on this 3D print, they did mark, they did put her markings into the sculpt for her Leku, for her head tails, but they did not put the markings on her tattoos, which I thought was kind of weird, especially for Star Wars 3D. I mean, she's an awesome quality model. Maybe they tried to put the tattoos on there at first and it just cut into her face too much. Um, but those aren't for those aren't for beginners. That was pretty terrifying, freehanding those. Maybe some of you guys have the ability to create decals or something like that. if you know how to scale for decals and whatnot. That would have been super helpful, but I had to freehand them. Um, you may have seen earlier in this live feed, I was talking about that. I just basically looked at a picture of Ahsoka and freehanded all her markings, her tattoos on her face. I had to freehand them, so that was kind of brutal. Um, yeah, a little scary. Kind of bumped into it just there, so I'm just gonna extend the marking out a little bit for her. There we go. But yeah, these I spent a long time working on those tattoos last night. That was uh, that was pretty brutal. Oh, you saw the Obi-Wan model yesterday there, Sarge? Yeah. I um I was so excited I got up this morning to see if they dropped it yet, and they had, and I downloaded it immediately and started loading it up onto my slicer. And my initial reaction was kind of just shock as to how big it was. Like, I really, really, really want to order the Photon Max just just to print this thing. But I think if I did that, my wife would probably want to. Let's just say I might wake up in the middle of the night with a pillow over my head. Oh yeah, Stitch. Yeah, you were telling me about that one. That reminds me, I need to do a Stitch. I got a friend of mine, his daughter's really into Lilo and Stitch, and I'll bet she'd get a kick out of having her own little Stitch print. I made a dragon for her a while back, and she really liked that. Okay, the markings are super faint on her Leku tattoos, so I am just carefully eyeballing where the next one's going to be. So that's all white right there. There's our next one. It is tough to keep steady. Just got my low battery notification. So I got a little more time to paint here. And then we'll take a break for a little bit and come back. I'll probably head upstairs, and while my stuff's oh yeah, you're not painting live, Sarge. I was gonna say I'll head upstairs and just watch your channel for a little bit. I'll watch your channel for a little bit anyways. Um, Guaranteed there's something on there I haven't watched yet. So if you check out Sergeant Digital Designs, so far I would have to say my favorite uh, video he's done on a character so far, and it's hard to pick favorites because he does some great work. But check out his Spider Punk uh, with Miles Morales. I hope. Am I right? That is Miles Morales, right? As Spider Punk, Spider Man. Um, anyways, he did a video on how he painted that one, and it's really cool. It turned out really awesome, man. All right. Now, these little headdress, the Leku tattoos, that's what I'm calling them now, Leku tattoo. The Leku tattoos are not intricate as the tattoos on her face, but they're still a little painstaking. All right, everyone. I think I'm gonna call it a minute for a break here. I'm not gonna call it a day, just calling it a break. Definitely thank you guys for coming and enjoying this time with me on the channel. I'm gonna be back in just a little while to finish doing these stripes on Ahsoka's face. And then once that's done, we're going to work on finishing up the headdress. And once that's done, we're going to peel off this mask. And, well, I think, yeah, we're going to peel off the mask, give it a clear coat, regloss her eyes, and she will be ready to be glued onto the body. And you guys will get to see the finish today. I'm very confident that I'm going to have Ahsoka done today. So yeah, thank you guys for being here with me today. Thanks for stopping in. Love you guys. Appreciate you all. And yeah, happy 3D printing, happy painting, and see you guys in about an hour or so. Cheers.